Hey there, this is Mr. Dan. So, in this lesson, I'm going to cover with you an important skill that not a lot of people think about when they teach or they practice about art, sketching, and design, and that has to do with gesture. So, a lot of times, how we hold our pencil and how we move our pencil or pen is just as equally important, if not more important, than what kinds of tools we use. So let me tell you what I mean. Um, when a lot of people, when they begin to learn how to draw or sketch, probably in their toddler or baby stage, they have this baby grip. They hold their pencil or their pen or their marker like this, and they just kind of go, like, they just kind of carve out the drawing like that. So that's the first way of drawing. And a lot of us, as we grow older, we don't do that much different. I mean, we learn to have a writing grip, but when we draw things or sketch things, we basically draw it the same way. We try to do this one line fits all kind of a thing. And when we try to say draw a car, we try to just do it in one line. Hopefully that one line will capture everything we want. Okay, so that's the first way of drawing. This is technically called drawing because drawing technically is different than sketching in that in drawing, you're trying to be perfect. You're trying to be like super precise and technical about things. That's why in architecture they call it technical drawings. They don't call it technical sketching. Okay, so so that's the first type of sketching. The second type of sketching of drawing or sketching. Some of you may have learned this already. You learn to break your drawing or your sketch into tiny little lines that joins together. This is a great place to start because it allows you the flexibility to be able to twist things and turn things around and be able to create far more complex, more precise shapes than you would have had before. So in the case of a car, now you have a lot more control on what you draw and what you sketch. This is a good way to get started. There's no problem. If you draw or sketch like this, there's no problem with that to start as a place to start. That's totally fine. This is technically called sketching because now with sketching, you are introducing an element of messiness or imperfection. That is actually quite welcome when you learn how to sketch. See, before you create fancy piece of art, you want to first learn how to draw, and before you learn how to draw and make like very, very, very precise drawings, you want to learn how to sketch. You want to learn how to get messy and sketch messy. Okay, so that's the second way of drawing or sketching. Third way, as you step into more advanced design schools or art classes and whatnot, you may learn this third way, which is basically you learn to not use your fingers to try to make things so precise. Like here, I'm using a lot of my fingers to try to finesse things with the second way of sketching, but in the third way of sketching, you're basically not using your fingers. You use your fingers just to hold your pen, in the right place. And what you're doing is you're just holding it with your finger. You're not moving it with your finger. You're using your entire arm. So meaning your palm, your wrist, sometimes even your elbow, the movement of your elbow, and sometimes even your shoulders and your whole body to make the sketch happen. And when you do that, when you learn to use your palm, practice with your palm, kind of like sliding like this, you could create lines that are extremely fluid, precise, yet in a way that's still rough. There's still a really good level of roughness, which suggests energy and vitality. There's a life to it. it doesn't just feel dead like the first type of first type of drawing, which is like so focused on being perfect. Okay. The third way, you're sketching because things are loose, but in a sense things are much more precise because all your lines are much more clean and smooth. And if you practice enough times, your lines could be very precise as well. So when you're sketching cars now, you're using a series of lines and splines and curves using this, what I call the dynamic sketching method, to create these very organic, rough, but at the same time very precise looking industrial designs. That makes your design look really sharp at one hand, but loose enough to feel like this thing has a lot of room to adjust and grow and change and evolve. Okay, so three ways to draw or sketch lines and splines and curves. But out of those three ways, the first way, I want you guys to completely avoid it. Please do not practice drawing things like by doing these very careful lines like that. Instead, please practice on the second way and the third way. I believe the second way is called hatching. And the third way, I'm not even sure what to call it. I guess I call it dynamic sketching. Please, when you practice sketching or drawing, only focus on that method number 2 and method number 3. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. If you practice using method number 1, let's just say if you're drawing trees, for example, if you're drawing tree branches using this really precise, take your time and really just carve it out, maybe it might take you a whole hour to complete this one tree branch or whatnot. If you practice drawing like this, I will guarantee you, over time, your sketching and drawing skills will get worse and worse and worse. Why? Because by drawing like this, you are pressuring yourself to not make any mistakes. Well, the number one fear I think a lot of students face is they don't allow themselves to make mistakes and get rough. But by not getting rough, you don't have a chance to learn from your failures. You don't have a chance to allow yourself to change your design, if you feel like it needs to be changed, okay? You don't allow yourself to make changes, not giving yourself the flexibility to get rough and experiment. I think that is that would be the worst thing that could ever happen to a artistic learner, is not allowing yourself to be rough and to create something out of the mess that you made. Okay, this is really important. So in the case of practicing how to sketch tree branches, what we should do instead is learn to practice using these segmented broken lines like this. Do it quickly, do it rough. Don't worry about not getting all the little details correct. Just try to focus on the big picture. What is the whole structure look like? What does this structure feel like? How can I grow this structure? How can I maybe I made a mistake. Oops, I made a mistake. Okay, how can I turn this mistake into something deliberate and meaningful? Okay. And that is how you start to really create designs, start to really explore designs. This is the way I want you guys to practice from now on. Okay? So I hope this video is helpful to you and I hope it give you guys a head start on thinking about how to practice your sketching, your drawing. And this is a great foundation for you guys to begin on, to practice the correct ways. I really believe there are correct ways of practicing drawing and sketching, and steering away from the perfectionistic, like, you know, like I gotta make it perfect, that kind of a drawing line that will actually break your drawing skills down the road. There are ways to employ down the road. We are going to teach you how to use this very precise drawing skills, this one stroke kind of a technique to be able to create something that's far more creative, rough, and much more meaningful and interesting to look at. But for now, I want you guys to stay away from these really clean, crisp lines and afraid of making mistake, that kind of a line. I want you to focus on method number 2 and the method number 3, hatching and dynamic sketching methods. Okay, so practicing these two will help you improve your drawing, your sketching techniques, your design techniques dramatically down the road. Okay, so I hope this is helpful, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. All right, thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.